All right, welcome everyone to another amazing episode of Beyond Boardroom Business. I'm your host, Coach Stephanie, and tonight I have another amazing trailblazer. I have the privilege to interview people who have gone through all types of situations, challenges, and they are able to stand on business and make successful decisions. And they are coming forward to help you. So please make sure you have your friends and family around and make sure you hit the like button and share. And without further ado, let's bring on my next guest, Miss Sarah Curcio. How are you this evening, Sarah?
Hi, Coach Stephanie. I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you for being on tonight. I really appreciate it. I mean, I see you everywhere every time I go online. So you are definitely a master at what you do. So without
Thank
further
you.
ado, can you tell us who is Sarah Curcio?
Well, first, thank you for having me on. And I myself am a CEO and social media strategist of Sarah Social Strategies, LLC. I'm in business almost 9 years now.
Wow.
And what I do is I develop organic social media marketing strategies to spark engagement and insight and increase visibility and credibility for ambitious, goal oriented, service based entrepreneurs. I'm also a published author in two women's book collaborations, one of which was a number one bestseller. And I have a background in human resources, and I am a mentor in the community. So that's me summed up.
Wow, you're quite busy. So let's start off with the books. What's the name of your books?
Well, I wrote a book chapter in each one. The first book was called "Monetize Your Message," and the second one was is called "Winning Women."
Okay, monetize your message. I like that title. Wow. And so was it an anthology? Was it different authors that came
Oh
together?
yeah, the first book there were 20 of us total. And
Okay.
the second book, I believe there was 10 of us total, and we each got
Okay.
our own chapter to write about
Okay.
our business, our experience, provide some business advice and different things like that. So it
Wow.
was a lot of fun.
Okay. Okay. That's awesome. Congratulations on that.
Thank
Um,
you.
and so, what got you into marketing to begin with?
Well, I actually started out working remotely as a virtual assistant, and it was kind of a jack of all trades type of a thing. And I found I didn't like doing every single thing you could that possibly could be done online to have to work on for my clients. So I found I always loved writing, and then I started niching down, realizing I enjoyed the marketing aspect, and then it kind of just evolved from that point.
Wow. So, uh, were you like determined to just work for yourself or
Yes, because when I was a virtual assistant, I did have a couple of my own clients, but I was doing a lot of contractual work for other companies. So they had their own way of doing things for their clients, some of which I didn't feel aligned with.
okay.
So I knew that I wanted to create my own business because of that and, package the services the way I felt I could best help my clients literally and become more visible and increase their engagement as opposed to what somebody else thought you needed to do all of that.
Wow. Now, did you gain that experience by putting your branding together or from school? How did you acquire the knowledge?
A lot of it was self-taught. I did get a couple of certificates in different areas of online digital marketing to help with it as well. I also had participated in two business coaching programs, which
Mm,
most definitely helped learn a lot of different components of business from, the branding blueprints to marketing to sales. It kind of gave you like an overview. So between being self-taught, just interested in learning different trends and algorithms, some certificates, and the business programs, all of that together really made a big difference.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that. What's the difference between marketing and selling and
Well,
sales?
marketing is about getting your message out there and attracting the proper audience, or as they say, your ideal client avatar.
Okay.
And then once you attract them, then it goes into the sales part where you get them on, say, a consultation call or a discovery call, whatever term you want to use. And from there, you tell them how you can help them go from their pain points to their pleasure points. And that's really the big difference between it, because people get confused that with where the line is for branding, marketing, and then sales.
That is so true. So, what is the difference? What is branding?
Branding is the blueprint of everything. So that's like I always say it's like the foundation of your house, so to speak. So if you think of your business as a house, your branding is the foundation, because if that's not stable, then the message isn't going to be. If the message, building up those walls are shaky, then the roof is going to fall down with the sales. So thank you. Just trying to give like some type of a visual so people can really see all the different components of it. It makes things a little easier.
That is so true. So with branding, it's what people see. It's
your job title, whatever you want to title yourself for your business, your mission statement, which is probably the most important component of it, what you have to offer, who your ideal client avatar is, how are you going to define them, explain them beyond age and demographics, color psychology, what colors are really going to attract the type of ideal client avatar you want. And all of that's important because that's going to go into not just your website, but it's going to go into all the social media platforms you have, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. So that's why that's important, because as you're building everything up, then the marketing component comes in. And this is the part that I see that people struggle with the most. And this is why I actually created an ebook about it. I have an ebook. It's called, let me just look at the exact title. Perfect Your Social Media Profile Presence. It's a lot of P's. I want to make sure I said it right.
But I know what it means and I know what it provides. So that's
exactly. Because when I was doing one-to-one strategy sessions, I found that I was going over the same thing over and over with everybody. And I couldn't really take that time to take a deeper dive into their individual businesses. I was constantly going over, okay, you have to set up not just your bios, but your profiles, and trying to explain the difference between the two, because that's an important component with the marketing. If people are looking at your profiles or your business pages, and they can't figure out what you do, they're just going to go to the next person. So that's part of the reason I created the ebook, because I feel like they were able to get that set up first. And then when you have when I have one-to-one strategy sessions with individuals, then they can go a step further beyond that and dive into more things like, what types of social media posts should I be putting out? What types of blog posts, email campaigns, different things along those lines that are actually going to help benefit them and pull in their audience more.
Right. So have you ever had a client that wants to cater from 9 to 99 years old and have those type of ideas that they have a one size fit all type product or service?
Oh yeah, I've had a lot of clients over the years think that everyone is their audience. And, even starting out myself, when I first started out as a VA, I thought that myself. So I can totally relate to someone thinking that. Right. But the longer you're in business, the more you realize that's not doable. It's like saying, "Oh, this product is that I bought is for everybody." But
Right.
that if there's so many other products out there, so you never know what size is going to fit everybody, so to speak. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I learned that myself. So I try to relate my experience and my stories to my potential clients when I'm having discovery calls with them. So they
Mm.
kind of get a feel for it and understand. But now I am at the point in business that I would say more often than not, my clients know who they want to reach.
Okay. Well, that's good. So can one person have a business and handle marketing and sales and branding and advertisement and every aspect of a business?
It it's a lot to do. And I would say maybe you could do it for a little while, but then there comes that entrepreneurial burnout phase
Mhm.
that we
Yes.
all really don't want to experience because then you totally fall off the wagon with
Right.
promoting. So it's sustainable just so long, I'll say, to do everything by yourself. Because even myself, being I'm in marketing, I have interns that
Wow.
I will teach them things, but then they help me out with things too because they need the experience.
Yeah.
They need help building their digital portfolios, letters of recommendation, and I need to not have my hands in every single little thing so I can focus on helping my clients also grow their visibility and engagement.
So it's about delegating the
Mhm.
different things. Now, um, how do you find, I mean, do you use virtual assistants yourself?
I
Assistants?
I I have interns and I do have a couple of virtual assistants myself. The virtual assistant I have now was an intern, but she did so
Oh,
amazing. I was definitely ready to hire her, and she's still doing an amazing job, I have
wow.
to say.
That's really nice. Now, how soon did how fast did your business grow to where you needed some help after, because you mentioned you were in business for 9 years? Is that correct?
Almost 9 years. January will be 9 years, and then I can't wait one more year after that's the full decade mark. So
Yes.
I'm excited about that too. But to backtrack, I would say it did take me a while to learn how to delegate. And I think that's a problem for a lot of people because then you gotta make sure you build that trust up enough to allow
Yeah.
somebody to help handle your business.
Yeah.
So it's really a matter of working past that mindset first, and everybody's different how quickly they're going to be able to do that. But I will say this, once you finally decide to do it and you get that little extra help, it does get easier learning what you can delegate out and what you can't delegate out. So
Mm.
I have found that myself. And I've, in addition to having interns, like I'll have mentees and then I'll have VAs. So there's like all different levels of types of assistants you can have. And from there, you can figure out who to delegate to what. That's what I've learned, at least from my experience doing it.
Now, have you ever hired someone and then realized right away that you can't work with them? How does that, you know,
It
unfold?
it definitely has happened, and that's why contracts are really
Mm,
important to have.
yeah.
Um, and I myself use Legal Shield. So I
Okay.
let them review my contracts and give me feedback if things need to be tweaked or something. So I highly recommend that for
Yeah.
anyone who is definitely going to delegate some things. It just works out better for yourself and for the person too. And depending on, your business, you'll figure out what exactly to put in your contracts to cover you. This way, if something doesn't work out, then you are legally and safely covered by that
That's
contract to let this person go.
And I totally agree. I
Mhm.
sell Legal Shield. I didn't know if you were aware of that, but so that's a great plug for it. So thank you. Yes, it is so important to be able to have a professional legal ear available when you are in business. So,
Yes.
kudos to you for that. Now, have you ever worked with VAs overseas? Is there a difference between working with people here locally as opposed to overseas?
I actually wouldn't be able to comment to that because
Okay.
I myself haven't hired anybody overseas. I've actually hired more of the interns who were college students and gave them
Oh,
a chance to put it on their resume because I always would have liked to have had that experience, but I didn't. So that's kind of why I lean more towards helping them because I know that that would have been something I would have majorly benefited from if I had had that opportunity. So that's why I tend to throw the opportunities in their direction more.
okay, and that's a great point. I used to use interns a long time ago. So I would contact schools like the VRI. I don't necessarily need to call any specific names, but are they really open to working with businesses? Is there a particular process to be able to find interns?
I typically use LinkedIn actually.
Okay,
I
okay.
find, posting an internship job on there really works out well. And then, you have your
Yeah,
interview process set up. And, once you have all this set up, it just kind of becomes routine. So you're not even necessarily thinking heavily when you're doing it. And once you have it developed, it just becomes a repetition. So
okay.
I find it to be easier each time I do it.
How long can they intern before someone should consider hiring them?
Do you mean how long they intern with me first, or
Yes.
well, typically between 4 to 5 months.
Oh, okay.
I do an internship with the individual. This way, they get to learn a variety of different areas of organic social media marketing, which includes things like, and these are things that I offer my clients that I'm going to suggest, they're going to say as well, blogging
Okay.
and SEO, email campaigns, free lead generation,
Yes.
social media marketing, community management, and like social networking. So those are like different components that I help my clients with and that I teach my interns.
That's great. So let's talk about social media. I mean, it changes things like every other week. How does
Yes.
a person keep up with it? Is there a particular, best suggestion as to how to keep up?
By first, I would say by figuring out your master social media platform.
Okay.
So, which social media platform are you going to find the most of your ideal client avatar on? And that's the main one you should be focusing on because what happens is everybody gets nervous that they need to be on everything and anything and everything. And that's where the mistake comes in. Like you can have a presence on all of them, but you
Okay.
don't have to constantly be posting on every single one like 3 4 times a day.
Wow.
That's not the case. Like the ones you are having a smaller presence on, you could post a couple of times a week, just so there's something there. But the master platform is the one you need to focus your most energy on. And that's where you're
Understood.
gonna focus on how many times do I need to post and do I need a community, like say on Facebook as an example, do I need a Facebook group? um,
Mhm.
what stories and different things along those lines.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, is there a specific type of audience on Instagram as opposed to YouTube, as opposed to Facebook?
Yeah, because there are different generations that are going to lean towards more platforms than others. Like, I can actually give an example. I have one client who is a nonprofit organization, but they actually have two types of avatars. So One type of avatar is about helping college students and or helping them through mentorship and other services like that they offer. So we actually created a Instagram account for that because we're going to find them more on Instagram versus say Facebook and LinkedIn. Not that you're not going to, but they're going to spend more of their time scrolling on Instagram as opposed to Facebook. But then the other side of the coin, the other ideal client avatar that they have is who is going to help donate to help different types of schools, like Title I schools, for example, we have. So then things like Facebook and LinkedIn are a little bit better because you're going to have people who are older and who are able to donate more. So that's the best example of what I could give for your question.
That's a great answer. Now, what's the significance of groups on social media, like Facebook, for example?
So Facebook groups can be very beneficial for two reasons. You can look at them from a admin perspective and you can look at them from a member perspective. So I'll start with the member perspective. You want to join different Facebook groups to find more people to follow you and become friends with you who could be potential clients. So that's where you're going to be a member in other people's groups. Yes, you're going to post some of your content, but you're going to make sure that you're engaging with other people's content as well by a quick comment, liking them, possibly sending out a friend request, different things like that. So that's why it's important for the lead generation perspective to interact as a member. But now, if you're running your own community as an admin or moderator, you want to make sure that your ideal client avatar is in your group and that you're giving them value, education, and some entertainment, possibly, depending on your brand, of course. But you definitely want to make sure that they're getting value, maybe something even a little bit different than what you post, say, on your profile and your page that anybody could see. You might even offer special discounts for your services in the group that you may not offer outside, or you might offer discounts for both, but people in your group get like that extra 5% off or something like that as an example.
Okay. Now you mentioned lead generation. Now, can you explain for those who might not be aware of what that means?
Sure, most definitely. So, lead generation is the term that you use when you are attracting your ideal client to you. So, if you see them in a group or you see them commenting on your post, you want to make sure you give them the attention and comment back to them. You don't want to ghost your ideal client avatar because then those people aren't going to take the next step in that quote unquote lead generation funnel and click on your links. And then if they click on your link, they could go to the website. That's going to increase traffic there and etc. But if you don't interact with them, they're most likely not going to click those links then.
I understand. And should every business be online as well for visibility?
Yeah, I would say so because even a brick and mortar can benefit from being online. As an example, like say there's a brick and mortar that is local, something like the Nextdoor app could be beneficial for them to attract their local community in. Facebook as well. Facebook is good for your local community. Maybe they don't have to have a LinkedIn page or a TikTok, but depending on your type of business, depends on which social media platform you may or may not want to use.
Okay. Okay. Um, should people pay or are they able to become successful with free services online to help them with their business?
Um, when you say free services, what exactly are you referring to? Because I want to make sure I answer it.
Okay, like all of the different platforms that a
Mhm.
business needs to excel online. For example, uh, like StreamYard, what we're using here. They may have a free version
Yes.
as opposed to a paid version.
Yes.
Um,
Okay. I got you.
mm,
So I would say for anybody starting out, definitely start with the free versions for pretty much everything. Only
okay,
because you don't want to be putting out extra business expenses if you can do something on the free
right.
version. Um,
That's,
it's just more money putting out that's probably going to stress you out and lead to burnout faster.
mhm,
There are ways to get your business up and running by using the freebies that are available, and it's not to say that you can't always level up and get something premium later on, but by then you'll probably have built your clientele up more and you won't mind, utilizing business expenses a little bit more.
okay, that makes perfect sense. How do you avoid burnout with all of these different things you have to do to have success?
I actually was feeling that way a little bit recently, and that's why learning how to delegate is so important.
Yes.
Because I think I would have most definitely hit burnout recently if I
Okay.
didn't learn how to delegate. Um,
Okay.
and now that I'm a little more aware of it after being more of a seasoned entrepreneur now than I was a long time ago, I kind of know when I'm getting closer to it and when
Yeah.
I know, okay, I have to actually include, I heard somebody say this and I'm going to say it, how to include rest in your business plan,
I
because
like
we actually forget to do that.
that.
It was in a actually, I think I heard it in a self-care room on Clubhouse, because
Okay.
that's one of the things I like to do when I'm exhausted. I like to hop on Clubhouse and find the self-care rooms and hear what other people are doing for
Okay.
self-care if, I'm feeling a little at a loss or something like that. But sometimes something simple like that, knowing others feel the same way and getting
Right.
different advice and feedback, it kind of does help.
Okay.
And that's what I've learned at this point in the game, so to speak.
So, so what kind of symptoms does a person feel in general before they say, okay, this is stress, this is burnout or potential burnout?
Um,
What
Fatigue and
are the
overwhelm
telltale
come to mind the most. Sometimes what they refer to is, like, I guess, brain fog or cloudy
signs?
thinking,
Okay.
any of
Yeah.
those terms like that, I would say, yeah.
Yeah. Time to get
Trouble sleeping, or like, if you've ever seen the meme with Lisa or Homer Simpson, normal people sleeping, an entrepreneur trying to sleep, and 20 different things going
that
on in
is
their brain,
so
right?
me. OMG.
Uh-huh.
That is
Exactly.
I mean, it just comes like 3 o'clock. I'm thinking I'm just going to the restroom, but it's like, I need a notebook.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome. You're so right. You answered some with some great pointers. Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you would like to convey?
I would say if you aren't ready necessarily to let somebody else handle your social media marketing, but you still need a little bit of support,
Okay.
consider something like seeing if they have strategy sessions, because I have two types of services. One is a strategy session where I'll have 4 30-minute meetings over Zoom. I record them so that people can keep it for their records. And I
Nice.
teach them different things. And then they're able to go and implement it themselves. So this way they
Mm,
get that expert advice and opinion, and then they can still feel they have control, but they're still getting some type of support. So that's
mm.
one service I offer. And then the other service is the marketing campaigns where people are just like, I don't have the time or the energy to learn it. Here, you do it. Because there's all different types of clients out there. But I would say if you're not ready to hand over the reins, but you still need support, consider doing that, the strategy sessions. That would be
That's
my suggestion.
Now, one question that comes to my mind. Um, do you use password websites to share?
Oh, things
Your,
like LastPass. It
yeah.
depends on the client. Most of my
Okay.
clients don't mind just letting me have access, but then some others may not. So it really depends on the
Okay.
individual.
Okay, that's good to know. So, all right. Well, thank you. And how can people find you?
They can find me at my website, which is sarahsocialstrategy.com, or they can reach out to me on Facebook or LinkedIn. They can probably find me the easiest.
Well, I really enjoyed this conversation, of course, and I would love
Thank
for you to come
you.
back in a couple of months so we can follow up and see what's going on in your world. Is that cool?
Yes, definitely. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Okay, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I mean, I've learned so much and I've been an entrepreneur for years, but it's always great to touch base and to be able, you just can never stop learning. And so I hope you take advantage of Sarah, www.sarahsocialstrategy.com. Thank you all for watching us on another episode of Beyond Boardroom Business. And I'm your host, Coach Stephanie. And until the next time, stay prayerful, stay present, and stay powerful. Peace.